Your money, your way. Your all-in-one money app. Maya, it's everything. And the bank.
Ang dating smart padala, ngayon, Maya Center na. Di lang padala, maraming kaya with Maya.
Remittance.
Kaya! May cash in, may cash back pa. May cash out.
Art.
Kaya rin.
Yeah.
Kaya mag-ride ng bill?
Kaya! Kayang-kayang puntahan dahil may widest network sa Maya Center. Kaya with Maya!
Aling Maya, send money to banks?
Kaya na rin, soon!
Make your move with your all-in-one growth partner. Maya Business. Sign up now. Day in, pay out. Choose the bank that gives you interest every day with Maya.
Our company is fueled by the work of a diverse group of people delivering our bold vision of a smoke-free future. We take pride in our commitment to continuously build a workplace where everyone can shape their future and build a fruitful career. PMFTC Incorporated and PMI Business Solutions Philippines is home to talented and innovative changemakers collaborating to make impact to the lives of our customers and to the communities we live in. Not defined by their race, gender, age, and sexual orientation, our people work together with creativity and innovation to make history from being the only equal salary certified company in the Philippines, securing a spot in the top 4 companies to grow your career by LinkedIn, to achieving top employer status in the Philippines and the Asia Pacific for 3 years in a row. Our company sets the stage for our people to perform their best. We strive to go even further by working hard to achieve our gender balance targets and creating an inclusive space for women and LGBTQIA+ colleagues by leading discourse and coming out with like-minded industry leaders. PMFTC Incorporated, PMI Business Solutions Philippines, working to make change and making change work for everyone.
The world is full of people telling you who to believe they are. Well, we thought we'd tell you who we're not. Let's start here. We're not in shipping. We don't make lifts. Seriously, no lifts. We do this. We're good at this. And we make all of these. And even though you'll find us here and here, we don't make energy. We make you save it. And you'll be saving the environment too. Are we an internet company? Well, we connect and power just about everything around you, helping machines talk to each other and to you, making your world more personal. We're seeking out the big questions and answering them honestly. Like, how can we make the most of our energy and resources? Or can we make access to energy and digital basic human rights? We're real people, employees, developers, partners, investors, and inventors, all passionate about doing what's right. We're open. Humans of all sorts from all over, learning from each other and about each other. We're not here to save the world. It'll go on with or without us. We're here to be your digital partner for sustainability and efficiency, to ensure life is on everywhere, for everyone, at every moment. Does this sound like you? Are you someone driven by a sense of meaningful purpose? Would you rather devote your time to this and this instead of this and this? Are you happier working somewhere inclusive like here instead of here? Do you want to feel empowered like this rather than this? Maybe there's something we can learn from you and something we can achieve together. Let's talk.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey.
I'm Diane.
I'm Daryl.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Tina.
Hi, my name is Chai, and I've been working in TI for 14 years.
If I were to describe TI in one word, it will be challenging.
Collaborative.
Integrity.
Inclusive.
Innovative. TI creates a better world by making technology smaller, more efficient, more reliable, and more affordable. Our products help make our homes smarter, cars safer, and more. I love that TIers are curious and persistent to overcome barriers.
Growth. TI allows us to grow and progress in our careers with opportunities to help us meet our goals.
My job is to ensure that we can deliver products that our customer needs on time.
I'm an environment safety and health engineer, and I make sure that the workplace is safe and free from serious health risks.
I think my favorite part of being in TI is interacting with diverse people across different teams, areas, and regions. We get to share our work and learn from other TIers that help us improve as IT professionals.
My favorite thing about TI is that TI is a safe environment for everyone.
My favorite part in TI? Solving real-world problems.
My favorite part of being in TI is leading people and making an impact.
I would say my favorite part is that there's always opportunity for me here for career growth. I was able to experience different technologies and products. And in my 10 years and 4 months here, I was able to work as a process engineer, and now I'm leading a team.
I think my favorite part is being surrounded by different people who bring unique perspectives to the table. They're incredibly smart and always ready to mentor. It's the culture of looking out for each other like family.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Krisha, and I'll be your host for today. Welcome to the 7th Industry Talk for Career Series 2022, focusing on the energy industry. UP Capes is back with its annual career series, and for the month of November, we will be having different initiatives to help guide engineering students in their careers. Please stick around because we have so much in store for you today. All right. This week's talks are all about exploring the different industries and paths available to us engineering students. Through Career Series, we can prepare for our careers through the practical guides, knowledge, and tools needed to successfully choose and apply for a job. Today, we will be learning more about the energy industry. So, before we proceed, please pay attention to our house rules. First, kindly turn off your video and put yourself on mute upon entry. Second, set your Zoom display as your first and last name so that the organizing team can identify you. And third, for questions, please send your questions to thementi.com or to the Menti link using the code 56120428. And for any concerns, kindly send a private message to UP Capes operation here in the Zoom. And finally, please maximize this opportunity. Thank you so much for attending.
In 2014, we observed there is a big increase of internet penetration through mobile. There are many consumers coming online through their mobile platform. At the same time, there are many sellers selling on social media. However, they didn't have an easy system to manage their stocks, to manage their payment, to manage their customer service. So we thought there is a gap in the market that we can address to make sure there is an easier way for our buyers to buy on e-commerce platform, and at the same time address the pain point for the sellers so they can manage their stock better, they can manage their payment better, so they can serve their customer better.
With this purpose in mind, in 2015, Shopee was born.
At that point, the market was filled with our incumbents. They were well established and they had invested a lot in the market. So when we first came in, we knew that the only way for us to succeed was really to enter the market in a different way. One was going towards the social sellers as opposed to the bigger brands. The second part was moving towards mobile first. It was quite a risky move. So taking on that strategy was really something that was relatively new at that point. Even though we got the strategy right, that does not really tell us the full story.
In early 2015, our engineering team was a quite small team of 22 members, and we had a lot to build and achieve in a very short period of time to develop 7 apps for 7 markets within 6 months. This is what we are committed to.
From then till now, we have become the leading e-commerce platform across Southeast Asia and Taiwan, serving millions of users every day. We believe online shopping should be accessible, easy, and enjoyable. We believe everyone deserves a little support to make their lives better. At Shopee, we serve. We adapt. We run. We commit. We stay humble. We challenge ourselves to grow to our fullest potential. We enjoy work and enjoy life, both with 120% devotion. We collaborate to innovate in a conducive work environment.
The thing I love about Shopee is the opportunity to always learn from the best people.
What I love is our culture. We have very young teams making quality decisions at a very fast pace.
I like the level of autonomy given to drive change.
Every day is a challenge and every day is very different. So we always try to adapt. We always try to do our best.
At Shopee, we are simple, happy, and always together. It's been quite a journey, and we've only just begun.
Do you remember? The dream when you first received your results and roared your lungs out. Raise your game. Rehearse your interview. The dream that brings you to places. A place to rally your team and relax with them. Rise to the challenge. Rejoice at the results. Record a meeting. Rave about the food. Restore a system. Row your boat. Race to the finish line. Reach for the ends of the world. With Huawei APAC, the opportunity is now to reach for the stars and realize your dreams. Join us today. Run the world.
Accenture, the home of many technologies, gives you the chance to grow and advance in an innovative environment where experiences are endless and learning is limitless. Through Accenture student programs, get a feel for Accenture's boundaryless learning career opportunities. Wide range of capabilities and technology from A to Z. Be knowledgeable. Stay ahead in the tech industry with the latest and greatest with Accenture Technology Academy. Be skilled. Learn from industry experts, market leaders, and innovators with Student Leadership Conference. Be involved. Develop inclusive, responsible, and sustainable solutions to complex business and societal challenges with Accenture's Program the Future. Be proficient. Learn the latest tech practices and tools from industry experts and tech leaders with Campus Tech Explorer and become future innovators. Be a tech expert. Harness your capabilities by creating solutions to different business and societal problems using the latest tech innovations at Accenture Internship Program. With Accenture student programs, be part of a culture that provides you with every opportunity possible. With deep industry expertise, Accenture molds our future tech leaders and innovators. Get started on your tech adventure today.
It made me feel comfortable knowing that the place I was joining was somewhere where I could continue to learn, grow, and question.
Whether you start in technology, operations, strategy and consulting, or interactive, you can continuously learn and grow your skills to follow your purpose.
Everyone is willing to share their knowledge, share their expertise to help you grow, which I feel like is quite unique about Accenture.
Every day, all over the world, our people are delivering on the promise of human ingenuity combined with technology to solve some of the world's biggest challenges.
I'm in project dealing with air cargo, tracing production of carbon dioxide.
So I was using geospatial data to help the smallholder farmers in East Africa.
I was working for this children's charity and we delivered a manifesto for a new humanitarian fund.
I'm working on a project where we are implementing patient-first solutions to improve healthcare in Singapore.
I'm contributing to the UK reach its goal of net zero by 2050, and for me that's a really strong driving force in my day job.
We're all about giving our people boundaryless career opportunities.
Cool thing that Accenture really promotes is building your career like however you want it to be.
You can essentially learn anything, I think, in Accenture.
We're more than 640,000 unique people innovating together. And we know the best ideas happen when everyone is included and all voices are heard.
I realized the culture is probably one of the biggest things for me.
I'm really glad that I'm a part of this big Accenture family.
Now is your time to make real, lasting, impactful change in your life and in the lives of others. Come and join us and match your career with your passions.
Our talk today about energy. So before we proceed, this event would not be possible without our company partners. Career Series is co-presented by UP Caves and Accenture Incorporated in partnership with PMFTC Incorporated, Schneider Electric Logistics Asia PTE Ltd Philippine Branch, Globe FinTech Innovations Incorporated, Texas Instruments Philippines Incorporated, Maya Philippines Incorporated, ING Business Shared Services BV Branch Office, Shopee Philippines Incorporated, Huawei Technologies Philippines Incorporated, and Analog Devices Incorporated in cooperation with Asia United Bank, Lattice Semiconductor Philippines Corporation, Aboitiz Ventures Incorporated, FactSet Philippines Incorporated. And this is also brought to you by Jane Street Asia Limited, Citibank NA Regional Operating Headquarters, and Cebu Air Incorporated. All right, everyone, and today we will be learning more about our energy industry. So we will be having a Q&A at the end of the program, so you may send in your questions through our Menti link using the code 5612-0428, or you can scan the QR code in our presentation slide. For this event, we will be giving away 200 pesos to 2 lucky winners. In order to win, you must first have answered our RSVP form. Second, attend the whole duration of the talk. And third, answer the post-evaluation form of the talk. All winners will be announced in the UP Caves Facebook page. But that's not all. Get the chance to win these exciting prizes flashed on the screen. Just visit UP Caves Facebook page to know more details. Now, before we move on, let's start this talk with a smile. If you are comfortable turning on your video, please feel free to join our picture taking. And for this, I'd like to call on our Zoom admin to take our photos today.
All right. Hi everyone. I'm Lucy, the Zoom admins. If you could please turn on your cameras. Okay, so we have 2 pages po. So smile na lang po. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, wait lang. Wait lang po. Let me just check. Okay po, next page po. Smile. Okay po, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Nikki. So I know you are all excited to hear what we prepared for today. So without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker. Engineer Carmelo Cabanilla is currently the Senior Sustainability Analyst for Global Lubricants at Shell Business Operations. He has more than 2 years of experience in data management, front-end engineering design, and detailed engineering for oil and gas projects. He was once a process engineer for Fluor Corporation, as well working on their pipeline projects. So everyone, let's give a virtual round of applause for Engineer Carmelo Cabanilla.
Hello, hello. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. We can hear you po.
Thank you. Yeah. First of all, thank you, Krisha. And thank you din sa ating organizers ng UPK. So thank you for having me here. At sa ating mga attendees, I hope safe kayo dyan in your home or school or wherever you are. So, yep. So, start with, ako nga pala si Carmelo Cabanilla. Ako po yung nasa picture. I am a chemical engineer. So, I graduated from the University of the Philippines, Visayas. And I'm currently the Senior Sustainability Analyst for Lubricants in Shell. So, you will know more about me and my experience because I will be sharing today about my career journey into the energy industry. All right. So can we have the next slide, please? So, yep. Alam naman natin na career in energy is a very vast for us engineers. Pwede tayo kahit saan. Pwede tayo sa site, pwede tayo sa design, pwede tayo sa sales, pwede tayo sa management, pwede tayo sa safety, pwede tayo sa operation, maintenance, at iba pa. For me, energy sector presents unique opportunities for professionals at every stage of our career. It is a rewarding industry with huge growth potential, and with the rise of renewable energy, there's a range of ways to succeed in this industry. So if you are into building a career in energy, you just have to keep honing your skills, learn new experiences, apply what you know in college, and of course, open to new ideas. Yep, so next slide, please. So here is my roadmap of where I started and where I am now. So honestly, after college, I have I have no firm career path in my mind. So I just followed what the universe wants me to be. So throughout the career experience, what I realized is it's not always where we want to be, but most of the time it is what we learn during the process. So sabi nga nila, it's not always the destination that matters, but it is the journey. For me, where I am now is the product of who I am in my previous roles. It is like bounded by a connection circles where every experiences forms every piece of the puzzle of our career. So what I'm trying to say is that kung ano man ang magiging roles nyo in the future, make sure that you give your best effort, learn to influence, and learn the process and the skills. Kasi it may be a huge stepping stone for you to land your ultimate role na gusto mo tahakin in your career path. So yep, before I became a sustainability analyst in the energy industry, I've been into multiple roles already. So I started as a research associate in a university, and then I went to the EPC company as process design engineer, and then went to Shell as process data engineer, and after that, I became a sustainability analyst. So I will discuss a high-level overview of each of these roles and what have I learned, and para naman maka-idea kayo if ever man you come into these roles. Next slide, please. So right after college and passing the board exam, my professor invited me to apply as her research assistant in her ongoing biochar project. So it is about investigating the potential of converting charred biomass from natural waste such as bamboo trimmings, sugarcane bagasse, and rice husk. So here we are trying to study the effects of using biochar, kung nakaka-improve ba siya ng water holding capacity, soil nutrient retention, plant growth when combined with biofertilizer. So yung ginagawa ko dito, one of which is to maintain our cacao plants in the nursery and on the field side. Then I collect data, measuring those plant height and leaf span. So in the lab, I did some experiments kung saan kinukuha ko din yung pH ng soil at some period of time. Then those data collected will help us create some trend to visualize the entire development. So aside from the preparation activities ng project, engagement with our stakeholders. So actually, the picture on the left, as you can see, so I am with our visitor, also part siya ng project. So he is a doctor and professor from Australia. And actually, first pa rin encounter ko rin siya as stakeholder. Kaya medyo nakakaba pa at that time. So looking back, this role taught me about the research process. I learned how to design studies, implement ethical principles, analyze data, and present results. So these are valuable skills that primes me for my next role. So after my short stint on research associate, can you move to the next slide, please? Yep, thank you. So after my short stint as a research associate, my seniors from the EPC company I interned with invited me to join their process department. So finally, I joined the workforce. My role here is process engineer for oil and gas clients. So it's already in energy field. What I like about this role is I can actually apply what I have learned during my stay in university. So as I remember as student, we are solving the Bernoulli's equation, transport processes and phenomena, the tank column design. So it's just amazing that I have tried to perform this as an actual job requirement. As a process design engineer, I was involved to projects like pipeline design, where we support our clients to transport and distribute crude oil to certain locations in Canada. So the location of project is actually in Canada. So yung ginagawa namin dito is just to design yung size pipes, yung length niya, yung kino-consider yung pressure at temperature ng mga process fluids. So we also run some simulations using the Aspen HYSYS, AFT Phantom. So if you know one of these. So we use this to generate database basis sa mga details na pinrovide ni clients like mga battery limits, initial temperature, design temperature, pressure, and so on. Then after ma-confirm yung calculation, ilalagay namin siya as process inputs dun sa mga equipment and instrument datasheet na pinapacheck namin sa mga clients. So during those activities, we also design the process flow diagram and piping instrumentation diagram. Ito tinatawag natin mga PNIDs. So yung PNIDs na to, ginagamit to visualize the detailed structure ng mga piping instrument, ng mga equipment. So usually ginagamit siya to evaluate the entire process kung may need ba ng modification, check for process safety, and so on. During that time, I also do some AutoCAD. So I personally make some changes on those drawings using the AutoCAD. So that's a very good skill din to learn kasi you can apply that if any environment or in industry you want to be. So ito yung part na ginagawa if sa process design engineer. So widen the scope depend on the needs of the clients. So usually, ma-apply mo talaga yung whole concept ng unit operations when you are involved on different projects and different business line. So like refinery, manufacturing, chemical plants, renewable energy plants, etc. So looking back naman sa experience ko dito, so I have learned a lot actually in terms of technical activities. The engineering workflow process, how to optimize the process, and fulfilling din siya if you see the actual plant or project to materialize and operate from the design na ginawa ko. So actually I would like to try to pakita sana yung picture ng isa naming project kasi hindi ko na siya mahanap. So ayun lang. So fulfilling ng parang satisfying siya na you get yourself involved once those projects has been erected already on the construction site. Although maganda din yung EPC roles as contractor, but it's not always na we can stay because sometimes we experience some recession. So sometimes walang project na pumapasok, so they have to let go people. So actually kami lang ako dun since contractual pa ako that time. So yeah. And now after that, can we move to the next page? So after that, syempre I joined as process data engineer in Shell naman. So on this job, na-apply ko din yung roles ko as design engineer. Since same environment na naman siya, we're catering the same oil and gas process. And yeah, still energy industry. Dito naman, I support the trading and supply business line ni Shell. So ito yung mga terminal na nag-hold ng mga fuels prior distributing to the mobility stations natin. So dun. So I'm involved in project kung saan we organize the equipment gaya ng mga pumps, mga pipings, gantry, additive tanks, nung terminal. So that whenever need man ng mga terminal engineers or facility engineer na mag-undergo na maintenance, make sure na okay na yung organization ng hierarchy niya dun sa tools na ginagamit namin, which is SAP, S4HANA. Ayun. So doon naka-record yung all ng assets ng Shell and yun yung ginagamit nilang basis to check for the corrective maintenance or preventive maintenance na ginagawa nila currently. So yeah, I've been involved in these projects as well. So yun nga, we are supporting globally. So there are 3 regions, the Asia, the Europe, South Africa, and America. So yeah, I learned a lot as well for the stakeholder engagement in here since we are always engaging with our stakeholders. So every time na mag-meeting kami, so we talk with China, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, in Europe, Germany, Netherlands, UK, Canada, America. So magandang training siya to learn about your stakeholder engagement and to explain as well kung ano ba yung need mong i-provide na information or service para sa kanila. Yep, next siguro, next, ito naman, so this is my current role. So then there's another window actually open for the sustainability role in the Shell. I grabbed the opportunity and apply for this role, knowing that Shell's plan for the net zero carbon target full emission, and I decided I want to part of it. So parang part na rin ng parang social responsibility ko na why not I could be part of this initiative by Shell as well, since we are going into the sustainable future. And one of the plan here is, as you can see here, now we're trying to reach a net zero by 2050. So eventually, lahat ng mga products na pinuproduce namin will not emit or will just cancel out the carbon footprint we are creating. So in my activities, we aim to decarbonize our entire value chain in terms of our lubricant products. So we aim to supply and design our products with lower carbon footprints to support our customers. What I'm currently doing is performing product calculation of the lubricants. So either for tenders, offerings, or life cycle analysis study na kailangan ng aming stakeholders. Usually yung nangyayari dito as part of my activity, they are requesting to calculate yung yung certain lubricant product nila na gusto i-buy. So for example, like Shell Helix, Primula, so they send a request to us. We calculate the carbon footprint of those products prior to sale. And we find based dun sa volume niya, sa density, doon namin makuha yung carbon footprint niya. And also we have our emission factors that we are using, since we are also aligning to the greenhouse gas protocol. So once we created, we generate the carbon footprint, binibigay namin yun uli sa kanila to check this para malaman nila if how much yung carbon footprint na kailangan nila compensate in order for that product to be declared as carbon neutral product. So that's also and in this field, what also I learned is I became one of the developer of app. So dito ako natutong mag-code, even though it's a low-code activity or low-code platform. If you are, alam niyo yung Microsoft platform, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI. So dito ko rin na-learn how to create those apps kung saan I provided more assistance and support from our stakeholders, since we are also supporting various regions in global, for example, Europe, Asia, and America. So as you can see here on the lower part, so this is the app I created. So previously wala pa masyadong process, medyo hindi streamline yung process ng pagre-request ng carbon footprint, and then I created this app para isang one-shop platform na lang for everybody to check and to notify ng mga request nila sa amin. So it's very good feedback. I received very good feedback on that. And even though what I realized in here is, even though as chemical engineer, I'm not used to coding before in my college years, I learned it here, and it really helps me to diversify my skills as well, so that I can apply it on my another role. And that's what my learnings for that. So can we go to the next slide? Yeah, so from these different roles, I can see that I learned a lot. Sometimes beyond what I am capable of for what I am trained to do. So minsan we enclose ourselves on doing technical stuff. It's fine, we are trained to do that because it's the very foundation of our career. So what my advice is, sometimes we need to get out of the box, try new things, upscale yourself even more, so that eventually we know and confident what we can bring on the table. So here are my key learnings that I would like to impart to you if gusto niyo matake ng energy industry. So first is just be curious, always ask questions. If hindi mo maintindihan, always just ask questions to your managers or colleagues na alam yung topic. And then you need to understand the process. So sometimes we memorize technical stuff, but it is very important that we understand the process end to end. And then give your best effort. So I remember actually one quote from Mark Cuban, if you know him. So sabi nila, do not follow your passion, follow your effort. So doon ko binase yung key learnings ko dito. So give your best effort all the time, kasi once you do it repetitively, eventually you will be good at something what you're doing. All right. And my next key learning is cultivate relationships. So you need to become a leader in this one. So you need to influence people, your stakeholders, to have a better rapport with them, so that you can do your work even better and to provide them support they need. And of course, I set big goals and find your purpose. So that's the ultimate one. So if you really want to comply with your social responsibility, help the environment, you can put that in your goals, and sometimes universe will help you align those path you want. All right. So can we have to the next slide, please? So I know we have all different roadmaps. We have envisioned the career path we would want to take. So yeah, my advice is you can start designing a roadmap for your energy industry as well. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for that presentation, Engineer Carmelo Cabanilla. Thank you so much for all the learnings that you have passed on. I think, Sir Engineer Cabanilla's presentation was actually a very good assurance for all of us that even though after college, even though we think we don't know where we're going, where we want to go to, we can start planning right now. And then just, ayan, parang sinabi ni Sir Cabanilla kanina, where the universe takes us. As long as we put in our own effort, we set our own goals, it won't be a problem. So thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. Okay, so to our audience, you may start sending your questions through the menti.com link using the code 56120428, which will be sent in the chat. And you can also scan our QR code in the presentation. We will have our Q&A session later after all the talks. All right, now let's move on to our second speaker. Engineer Sabrina Blanco is currently the Supply Chain Commercial Lead for Shell Business Operations. She graduated summa cum laude with the degree of BS Chemical Engineering from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She was a recipient of the prestigious Dominador Ilio Award for Most Outstanding All-Around Engineering Student during her undergraduate years. And last but definitely not the least, she placed 9th at the May 2022 Chemical Engineering Board exam. So everyone, let's give a virtual round of applause for Engineer Sabrina Nicole Blanco.
Thank you, Krisha. Thank you, TK. Just confirming if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, po.
All right. And can you see my screen now?
Yes, po, we can see it.
Okay, great. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here. And I'm happy to be here to talk about being an engineering graduate in the energy industry. So just a really quick disclaimer first before I begin. Any potential forward-looking statements in the presentation are not meant to influence you to invest in Shell shares. So I don't have any like marketer inside info for you. Anyway, moving on. So I know I was already introduced, but just another quick slide about me. So I'm Sab. I graduated just last year from BS Chemical Engineering. Alongside my studies, I was also involved in my orgs. So I have UPKEM as my home org, where I served as the president during my 5th year. Then I was also a member of UPCapes, and I served as a publicity and publications director for 2 years. So it's really cool to be here as a speaker today, when before I used to be the one to make the publics for this, you know. So aside from that, I was also a member of UP Ingeniero and the Czech football team. So after graduating, I took the May 2022 board exams, and then I started working for Shell just this year in June 2022 as part of the Shell graduate program. So I'd say that my career journey has just begun. It's only been like a little over 5 months since I'm still in my first role in my first company. But I hope that my talk today can be valuable and relatable for you guys as engineering students. So before the career stuff, let me backtrack a bit. So why did I choose chemical engineering? So the common answer is because I liked chemistry in high school, which is actually a scam because it's not as much chemistry as you think it might be. But then so that's part of the reason. But then I also knew that I really liked problem solving, and I thought that engineering might be a good fit for me. In particular, I wanted to address problems that really had an impact in society, and particularly in sustainable development. So when I looked into CHE, I think that really hit the mark. I feel like that it's very versatile, and you can really find chemical operations everywhere across several industries. So there are lots of possibilities open for you there. And the industry that I wanted to focus on was the energy industry because of the way that it's developing, especially now. So when you talk about energy, there are lots of issues that come up, especially climate change. Considering the large impact of fossil fuels on climate change, there's an increasing urgency to switch to renewable energy. But like obviously we can't do that overnight, and that's because of the energy trilemma. So yes, we're currently putting more focus on environmental sustainability, but that's just one aspect. We have to consider the other two as well. So there's energy security. We need to make sure that there's enough energy supplied to meet the demand. And considering how just recently the world reached its 8 billion persons, there are 8 billion people in the world, you can expect that the energy demand is also growing. So we need to be able to meet the energy consumption of all of these people. And at the same time, there should be energy equity. So energy should be affordable and accessible for all. Because what's the point if it's too expensive to operate? So the energy trilemma index is one way to measure this. So you can try Googling it. I just took a screenshot of the one for the Philippines, and our balance grade is VDC, with the best being AAA. You can see we're ranked 96. So that means there's a lot of room for improvement. And I think that's where we can fit in as engineering students. So I wanted to be in a company that I felt was committed to delivering sustainable, secure, and equitable energy for all. And I found that in Shell. So what really drew me to Shell was the Powering Progress strategy. So even though it's a huge oil and gas company that's been around for a long, long time, Shell recognizes the need to accelerate the energy transition through its business. So the Powering Progress strategy involves 4 pillars. So first we have generating shareholder value, and because Shell needs to be able to deliver value for its customers and its business partners. Then there's respecting nature and achieving net zero emissions, which you would think are related. But I like that the net zero emissions is separate because that means we put more focus on it. It's a really, really large endeavor for a big energy company like Shell. So it really deserves its own focus alongside respecting nature through ways like waste reduction. And of course, we also have powering lives. So that's providing livelihood and empowering the communities that Shell works with. So I really like the Powering Progress strategy because I really feel like it's at the core of the company. It's not like Shell is just like, okay, so let's invest in some renewable energy plants so we can say we did something, and then everything else we can do as business as usual. It's not like that because Powering Progress is really at the core of the entire business. And when I say the entire business, it's a really big business. So this is just a quick overview to understand how extensive it is. It spans across so many different areas. So first we have exploration, which has to do with looking for gas and oil reservoirs underground, whether onshore, on land, or offshore in the deep water. And then once you find those reservoirs, you have to dig them up. You have to drill wells to be able to extract them. So exploration, development, and extraction, these make up the upstream business. Then we have manufacturing and energy production, which turns the crude oil into products like gasoline and diesel, or it turns natural gas into liquefied natural gas or LNG. So this would constitute the midstream and downstream side to turn them into products that we use. Then we have the transport and trading to manage the logistics of getting the products to where they're needed. And then when the products finally reach the consumers and end users, so this is the part of the sales and marketing. Then supporting the different parts of the business, we have technical and business services made up of professionals across different fields. So, yep, there's so many different things that go into the huge business, the global business of Shell. So you could probably find a way to fit in engineering in each of these different parts. So I want to zoom in on the Philippines. So I'll talk a bit about a brief overview of the Shell companies in the Philippines, or SCIP for short. So you might be more familiar with the first two. So first we have, for upstream, the Shell Philippines Exploration, or SPEX, which was, past tense, was in charge of developing and operating the Malampaya Deepwater Gas-to-Power project near Palawan. And this powered 3 out of 10 light bulbs in Luzon. But then recently, just this year, Shell already divested Malampaya. They sold its stakes to Prime Infrastructure, so it's no longer part of SCIP. Then probably the face of Shell that you're more familiar with is downstream. So the gasoline stations that you see are the retail stations. So this is under downstream. So the downstream business used to have the Tabangao refinery, where we manufactured the products from crude oil, but then now the refinery is no longer operating as such, but it's instead an import facility for us to be able to provide the fuel needs of the consumers. Then after that, we have the business operations, or Shell Shared Services. It's a tongue twister. So the SBO for short. So that's where I'm in, and that's where the previous speaker, engineer, was also part of. So this one actually makes up for a large part of the Shell workforce in the Philippines. So we have professionals supporting Shell companies and joint ventures all around the world. Then we have the newest part of the SCIP is the Shell Energy Philippines, which works as like an energy retail, an energy supplier and trader. So it makes partnerships with different companies to supply nature-based solutions and their energy needs. So it really has an extensive renewable energy portfolio. So moving on, I want to focus more on the Shell business operations because that's where I fall in. So I really want to highlight world-class because SBO works as a hub where you've got people supporting various shell assets all around the world. So you have Australia, the US, Trinidad and Tobago, all over so many countries. And it's a really good community to be in because you get to work with professionals from all over the world, so to whatever assets you're assigned to. But at the same time, you also work with your fellow SBO employees and you get to learn so much from their own experiences. So there's so much opportunities for knowledge sharing and you can really broaden your horizon. So for me in particular, the team that I'm in is CP Operations East Production. And by East, I'm referring to east of Australia because that's where we have QGC or the Queensland Gas Company. So this is the asset that our team supports. QGC is part of the integrated gas business. So integrated meaning it covers the process of extracting natural gas to liquefying it. So it's sort of like both upstream and midstream. And you can see here from the figures that it's a very, very large scale operation. So here's another visual reputation of QGC. So you can see that it's an onshore facility, which means that the gas is drilled from underground on the land. Over on the west side of Australia, we have a floating LNG plant. So that one's like deep water. It gets it from underwater, so offshore. And here's another visual of the process. So looking over at the process, you could already probably identify lots of spaces engineers can fit into because you've got chemical processes, you've got mechanical components, structures, materials, systems, networks, etc., etc. So if that's the case, then like where am I in the process? So why am I here in Makati and not like there in Australia in QGC? That's because the team that I'm part of is the CP, Contracting and Procurement. And this team is based in SBO Manila. So no, I do not work in the plant doing process engineer types of tasks. So what do we do in CP exactly? So the short answer is that we buy things. But then you might be thinking like, oh my gosh, Sab, why would I put myself through the stress and hassle of obtaining an engineering degree if I'm just going to end up buying things? But the long answer is that the process isn't as simple as just like adding to cart and checking out. It's very complex. And just to give an overview, so you start with the people at the asset. So the people there in QGC in Australia, the planning team, the schedulers, the maintenance engineers, and they figure out what materials and services they need for a particular work order, particular maintenance activity, for example. And it can be critical equipment like pumps and valves, or it can be even smaller items like screws or even like masking tape and stuff. So for a lot of these materials or services, we set up agreements with vendors to negotiate fixed prices and lead times. And these agreements can be short-term price books, valid for like 3 months, all the way to long-term contracts lasting for 5 years plus more extensions. So if the specific material that we want is already in a price book or contract, then we can actually automate the sourcing process. We know who to buy it from, we know how much it costs, we know how long it will take to be delivered. So all of that can be done automatically. But if not, then the procurement specialists in the team can process the standalone purchase requisitions. So we send out requests for quotations to different vendors. Then we evaluate, we choose who we can buy from, then process this into a purchase order. Then we monitor the delivery and expedite if needed so it can arrive in the plant on time to make it to whatever plant activities are being conducted and whatever needs that material. Then finally, we gather and analyze the data from the process so you can use this to generate process improvements and optimization. So it might still sound kind of businessy, and engineering might not be a hard requirement for this role. So some members of my team, their background is actually like finance or even HR. But then there are actually a lot of engineers in the team. I think majority of my team are made up of engineers. My line manager is also a chemical engineer. Because engineering gives you an advantage. And it's not just because it looks good on your resume or that it sounds good, but it's because you can actually put the skills into use to deliver value to the business. So when I said I chose engineering because I like the problem solving, maybe what I had in mind at the time was like, you know, the computational problem solving that we're usually used to. But now I realize what I like is the strategic aspect of it and that how you can apply it into real life problems. And yeah, so this really manifests in CP. And these are some of the questions that you would be able to answer with your engineering background. For example, what are the health, safety, security, and environmentalists? For me, for example, for from my plant design class, I was able to learn about some of the risks that you can find in the plant. And because of that, I'm more aware that when we contract risky services that require a lot of safety considerations, we need to put in clauses that would help mitigate those risks. So that's just one example, and there are so many different ways to apply this. And when we answer those questions, we go closer to our goal of powering progress. So just a couple of examples of how we do this in our team. So one of the ones I want to highlight, Powering Lives. So we partner with local indigenous suppliers because Australia has these Aboriginal communities that we really want to preserve the culture of, and we really want to empower them. So like they're a big focus, and we really reach out to them specifically to help achieve that. Another one I want to highlight is for achieving net zero emissions, the Supplier Energy Transition Hub. So we encourage our suppliers to log into this website, and they can log in the CO2 emissions that they have from their operations. And with that, we can collaborate with them, and they can check their emissions across benchmarks. And that way, we're all working together collaboratively to achieve this goal. So all in all, there are so many opportunities for growth. First for the industry, the energy industry, and accelerating the transition, but also for personal growth and developing, changing the way you think of how do I apply engineering in my career. And I think that's really meaningful, and I hope that you guys also consider a career in energy. So that's all for me today. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for that inspiring presentation, Engineer Sabrina. So you shared a lot of amazing things about where you are right now and how you got to that point. So it's really amazing how how far people can go when driven by different goals, such as was constantly being reminded throughout the presentation was yung in terms of environmental sustainability, energy security, energy equity, and all of those principles being maintained throughout all of the company's activities, and especially working collaboratively to achieve these goals as well. So thank you so much again, Engineer Sabrina, for that inspiring presentation. And I think a lot of people here relate to the issue of sustainability, especially in the energy industry. All right. So again, to our audience, you may still send your questions to our mentee using the code 56120428 for our Q&A session later. All right. And last but not the least, we have our third speaker. So Engineer Chevy Santiago has 13 years of solid experience in the electrical and energy industry. Currently, he is in Huawei Technologies Senior Business Development, and he is mainly responsible for creating new businesses in the renewable power industry, mainly in solar PV and BESS technologies in the country. And before joining Huawei, Engineer Chevy also worked with Phelps Dodge Philippines Energy Corporation and Thermax Limited as the country head for solar business. Everyone, let's give a virtual round of applause for our next speaker, Engineer Chevy Santiago. Engineer Santiago, you are welcome to share your screen na po. Okay, sir, we can see your screen po. If you're talking, Engineer Chevy, you're on mute right now.
Okay. So can you see my screen? Everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can see and hear your screen.
All right. Thank you for that very warm introduction. Good afternoon, students, faculties, and participants in this event. Today, I'll be sharing you what are the trends and insights into the future of energy industry and what Huawei is doing to give value to this industry through our digital power, Huawei digital power. So yeah, let me go directly.
Sorry po. Sorry, excuse me lang po, Engineer Chevy. We can see your presentation po, but it's not in the presentation mode po. It's in the, we can see your notes, sir.
Okay, sorry.
No problem po.
Yeah, how about that one?
We can still see your notes, sir.
Let's see. This one, right?
Ayan, okay na po, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, students, faculties, and participants of this event. Today, let me share to you what Huawei is doing in the energy industry and how Huawei is helping to give value in this industry. So let me go to the Huawei overview. Huawei is the leading provider for ICT infrastructure and smart devices. As a world leader, we have around 200,000 employees, and 54% of 55% of our employees are dedicated into the R&D. It's how we make our solutions and products competitive and in the industry. We are present in 170 plus regions, and right now we rank number 96 in the Fortune Global 500. And for the R&D investment, we are proud to say that we rank number 2, only behind Alphabet or Google. So Huawei is committed in bringing digital to every person, home, and organization for a fully connected, intelligent world. So in driving the future development through nonstop innovation, no matter what circumstance, Huawei is committed to develop and innovate in the technology. So we heavily invested in our R&D, and we have, as you can see, in the past 3 years, we have made more investment in our R&D, where we last year we hit the highest investment of 22.4%. That's more than 130 billion US dollars invested. And right now, Huawei is second in the world in R&D investment, only behind Alphabet. So as Huawei as a giant company, in a global giant company, it's also a local Philippine company. So in the Philippines, we were established in 2002, and actually it's our 20th anniversary this year. So we have hired more than 600 staffs, and 60% of those staffs are locally hired, and we are based in Makati and BGC, and we have satellite offices all over Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And Huawei has helped the Philippine economy with amounting to 92.8 million USD local tax paid, and created more than 22,000 jobs for the Philippines. So Huawei is here for the long term, and it's for the Philippines, for the Filipinos. So what are the motivation of Huawei and what is the trends and insights through carbon neutrality? So in the first phase, there is the agricultural economy, where we rely on the timber for power. And for the second industrial economy, we have the fossil fuels, which is more efficient, and humans were able to rely on it very deeply. So now we are going into the fourth industrial revolution, wherein the digital economy and renewable energy is taking place. So and in the fifth industrial revolution, the information and the metaverse is being explored heavily, and we can see that the more renewable energy and carbon neutrality will be achieved in the near future. So another trends in the world is the Glasgow Climate Pact, where 197 countries signed to reduce the carbon emissions, and also through renewable energy such as PV technology, wind and hydropower. And in 134 countries, including China, US, Japan, where the 83% of the emission is emission producing countries signed to a global net zero in 2030 or 2060. So carbon neutrality commitments are triggering a global energy revolution and accelerating the decarbonization of industries. So what is Huawei's digital power strategy and business introductions? So as you might know, I think most of you know Huawei as a mobile phone manufacturer and maybe from the cell sites, but we are more than just that. We are now in the power industry since 2013. So we have a five business foundation in the green power generation, where we have the PV, wind, and battery storage systems, the microgrid, and the energy digitalization from the smart grid to the digitalized power plants, mobile electrification for the EVs and charging networks, green ICT power infrastructure in the data center facilities and site power facilities, and also integrated smart energy, such as campus and building smart energy campus and buildings. So we combine the two core fundamental technologies of Huawei in the power electronics technology and the digital technology to create better solutions in order to achieve the carbon neutrality, to accelerate carbon neutrality. So the first solution that Huawei is offering right now is Smart PV. So Smart PV combines PV and energy storage and make the green PV a main energy source for every home and business. So we have the Smart PV plus storage generation. We have the Smart String energy storage system for large scale and storage power plant. We also have Green Business Power. This is for the rooftop of the commercial industrial scenarios, residential, and also the smart microgrid in the island mining areas without electricities. So all scenario will create better LCOE or levelized cost of electricity and levelized cost of storage, grid forming, and active safety for our customers. So actually, Huawei is not new in the PV industry, and we actually are leading this industry in terms of the global inverter shipment. We ranked #1 for 7 consecutive years from 2015 to 2021, and we have so many big projects in the world, like the 40 megawatt project in Xinjiang, Ukraine, Vietnam, and all over the world. We have more than 210 gigawatts of accumulated shipment of Huawei Smart PV. So we are able to do this by being customer centric and knowing what the customer needs and using our core technologies to help and to achieve a higher efficiency and lower LCOE plan. We have full products and solutions for all the PV scenarios. So we have the residential, we have the complete solution for the inverter, Smart ESS, optimizer, and management system. We also have in the commercial and industrial scenario, and in the utility scenario, where we have the utility Smart PV inverter and the utility battery energy storage system. So we are one of we're the only one company that can provide all solutions in all scenarios in Smart PV. So one of actually the biggest plant we were able to build is the 2.2 gigawatt solar power plant in Qinghai, China. This is a single plant, and the plant, the bigger the plant, it's more complicated, right? So we were able to prove that Huawei can be safe and reliable and efficient in such a large scale plant with average failure rate of 0.6, which is actually good. And also we have the 5 megawatt floating solar in Singapore for Sansiep. The developer is Sansiep. So it is safe and reliable. Our inverters can survive in a harsh environment. It's IP66 and C5 rating, which is the highest protection rating for the inverters in the industry. So it's highly weather resistant and with high quality surface coating. It also has intelligent O&M, and again, using our core technologies in digitalization and digital technology, remote smart monitoring of PV strings is enabled in this plant, saving the O&M costs. And also the utility scale energy storage system, which was deployed in China with 25 megawatt capacity and power of 50 megawatt hour. So this is the first large-scale plant of Huawei using string inverters and string energy storage system. And also we are also very present. We have a good market share, especially in the Philippines for the rooftop scenario, because of our consistent quality. The rooftop scenario is very it's very sensitive. It's a very sensitive segment of the market because it includes the buildings. There are manufacturing plants. There are malls that is being installed with solar. So it's very sensitive in the quality, and we are proud to say that we have been the customer's choice, number one customer choice in the Philippines for in this segment. And the next is the data center facility. So we know that if you're not know that, let me share that data center is one of the electricity, has a very high electricity demand. So in order to enable the digitalization, we have to look for innovations and technology in order to scale the data center with cost energy saving measures. So Huawei has developed solution with low carbon smart DC center, smart modular DC data center, and smart power solutions, UPS plus smart lithium-ion battery. So it's sustainable, simplified, autonomous, and reliable. So one project we have now is this project in Three Gorges Group in central China, which saves 40% footprint for power distribution, and also green and prefabricated construction mode, shortening time by TTM by 50%. And this data center in Middle East is 100% run by solar energy. So this is basically the goal of Huawei is to integrate solar energy into the data center and make it more efficient to provide more capacity in the data center industry. Site power facility. So site power facility is also becoming a carbon neutral target for this industry, because it's also a very high energy demanding industry. So we also deploy 5G without adding energy OPEX while minimizing CAPEX. So from Huawei is doing the planning, from planning, construction, operation, and maintenance in this industry. So one case is a cabinet solution, which helps to lower the CAPEX by 24% and reduce the footprint by 58% and cutting the energy consumption by 10%. And then we also have the Drive One, which is our solution to the EV industry technology. We provide the e-powertrain So it's like an inverter for the electrical vehicles, where we convert the DC to AC. We also have Drive One Cloud to have the management for the EV I mean to the EV electrical vehicle, and we have wireless charging system, an onboard charging system, and a DC charging module. So all of these are Huawei is providing solutions to make it more efficient. So with Huawei's technology, ArcFox builds industry's first fastest charging car under mass production with Huawei AI Flash charging solution. So it can actually charge a 200-kilometer cruising range for only 10 minutes. So this is a good innovation, and will probably be in the Philippines very soon. So integrated smart energy, this is the smart city. So Huawei is also managing the efficiency for the whole city, or for the whole campus. We also use other technologies like PV, like the data center, and it's like the application of all the technologies of digital power can be applied to a smart city for it to become as efficient as it can be. So this is a very ambitious achievement for Huawei, and it's already starting in China, and soon, hopefully, in the Philippines, we will have a smart city. So DG Power Cloud is it's like the management system for all the digital power solutions and products. It's one platform, an ecosystem for the management. So it can provide management in the generation side, in the grid side, in the load side, and in the storage. So it can actually be the software, or the brain for all the digital power products and solutions. So actually, digital power is your best partner in the future for a better and greener future. And I hope I will be able to see you in Huawei, and hopefully we can make this world a better and cleaner place. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that very interesting presentation, Engineer Chevy Santiago. So I think all of us here saw a lot of what the future could be. So it really is a time where we are getting closer to a more intelligent world. And from what I've seen from Sir Chevy's presentation, it's that, yes, we do move forward for cleaner energy resources, but it also has to be hand in hand with more sophisticated technology, evolutionized technology, so that we do have a step closer to what we call our more intelligent world, or yun nga, yung mga smart cities. I think a lot of people want to see that come into fruition. So yes, thank you so much, Engineer Chevy, for all those opportunities that you presented, and I'm sure all of us here are very interested in making those applications come true. So, all right, I know there were a lot of insights from our speakers, and our audience must have been waiting to ask their questions. But before we get into our Q&A session, let us again acknowledge those that made this event possible. Career Series is co-presented by UP Capes and Accenture Incorporated in partnership with PMFTC Incorporated, Schneider Electric Logistics Asia PTE Ltd Philippine Branch, Globe FinTech Innovations Incorporated, Texas Instruments Philippines Incorporated, Maya Philippines Incorporated, ING Business Shared Services BV Branch Office, Shopee Philippines Incorporated, Huawei Technologies Philippines Incorporated, and Analog Devices Incorporated. This is also in cooperation with Asia United Bank, Lattice Semiconductor Philippines Corporation, Aboitiz Equity Ventures Incorporated, and FactSet Philippines Incorporated. And this is also brought to you by Jane Street Asia Limited, Citibank N.A. Regional Operating Headquarters, and Cebu Air Incorporated. All right, so we will now be having our Q&A session. If you still want to have your questions asked, feel free to add them via the link in the chat or through our QR code in the screen. Okay, so I believe we have some questions already lined up. So I think all of these questions are asked to all of the speakers today. However, we would like to apologize for those who have asked specific questions for Engineer Cabanilla. Unfortunately, he had a prior commitment and had to leave a little early. But don't worry, we will be sending your questions to him via email, and we will send those answers right back to you. So please just wait for updates from the UP Capes Facebook page or through UP Capes email. Okay, so for our first question, I believe this is, yes, addressed to everyone here, to all of our speakers present. So, is there an overlooked source of energy better suited for the demographics and resources of the Philippines? So, do any one of our present speakers like to chime in on this? Okay, I think we can start with Engineer Blanco po. Engineer Sab.
Hi. Okay. Well, for this one, I think I'll answer it more based on somebody who took a renewable energy elective, not really as somebody working in the energy industry now. But then I think one of the notable sources of energy that we don't really talk about as much is geothermal, because we actually produce quite a lot of geothermal energy if you actually look it up. So I think that that's another form of sustainable energy that really needs to be talked about, because naturally the Philippines' geographical location makes it suitable for geothermal energy. So I think that should be explored a bit more. Yeah, and other than that, I think also biofuels is something that's pretty strong, considering our agricultural resources. We produce a lot of byproducts that can be used for biofuels. So I think that that could go hand in hand with agricultural development.
All right, thank you for that answer, Engineer Sab. Engineer Chevy, would you also like to weigh in on this question?
Yeah. For me right now, like what we're experiencing, that when the dollar is high, we have so many crises going on in the world, right? So now the coal prices, the fuel prices are soaring high. So what we can do is really rely on independently through our own resources, like of course the solar energy. It's always free. The wind, it's always there. So it can bring stability to the economy, especially in power. So I think we need to maximize this industry. And right now, I think the LCOE, or the levelized cost of energy, is getting lower and lower through the technology, where actually we are focusing on. So yeah, I think we still need to maximize the opportunity for these technologies.
All right, thank you for that, Engineer Chevy. Okay, so thank you for that. So let's move on to our next question. I think this is more suited to Engineer Chevy, but Engineer Sab, you are also welcome to weigh in after Engineer Chevy answers this question. So the question is solar power for household use in the Philippines really worth it given the cost of solar panels?
Okay, this has been long the concern of most end users or homeowners. However, if you look at the economics, it's the lifespan of the solar PV system is 25 years. So the design lifetime, the panels, the inverters, and everything, it can work up to 25 years. And now there are technologies that can work up to 30 years. And if you invest in solar technology, you can get an ROI of around 4 years without the battery. So I think it's worth it. However, the initial capex might be a little bit challenging especially for our households. But in terms of if you buy a car, let's say, worth, let's say 500, 700,000. And after 5 years, you'll sell it, it will more worth like 300,000 pesos, right? But if you put solar panels in your home, after 5 years, you'll be generating more and more and more. So I think the investment is no question. It's an investment. It's more of putting your money in the right places in order for it to have to pay you back, right? So I think solar is one of the measures that right now I think Philippines is more and more getting aware of its benefits.
All right. Thank you po, Engineer Chevy. Engineer Sab, would you like to add anything to that?
No, that's all right. I think Engineer Chevy covered it. Yeah.
All right. Sige po. Thank you. So next question. Again, this is addressed to everyone. How would having a nuclear power source affect the Philippines in different aspects? So I think this is both in the present and futuristic aspect as well. So I think we can start with Engineer Sab again, if you don't mind.
Okay. So with regards to to nuclear energy, what's the great benefit of it is the fact that it doesn't really have carbon emissions, right? But then the problem is the complexity of the operation. And I think considering the frequency of the natural disasters we experience here, we really need to make sure that if ever we do operate a nuclear energy plant, then we will have to make sure that it's resilient and it can and we can mitigate the risks associated with it. Because definitely there are lots of concerns with the safety and well-being of the people around the vicinity. But then otherwise, I think that if done well, it could be a great source of energy, and it's also a good source of livelihood if you develop the competencies of engineers here and really build on the nuclear energy field. Yeah.
All right. Thank you po, Engineer Sab. So Engineer Chevy, what would be your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think she covered it also. Yeah, I think it's a good way. It's a good way to add on the capacity. It's very efficient, and right now the innovation technology is already so much advanced like before. So I think we still have to study because we have not been into this energy before. It's going to be a challenge, but with the right awareness and right education, maybe it can be part of our energy mix in the future.
Okay, thank you po for your answers. So I think we can move on to the next question. Yes, this is applicable again for both, since you are both also representing companies today. So the question is the shift towards a more environmentally friendly and sustainable business process highly costly for a company? And I think an additional follow-up to this is, how would these companies, let's say, offset any high cost these sustainable processes or practices would entail? So I think let's start with Engineer Chevy. That's all right.
Yeah, sure. So right now the companies are very I think the government is driven into high energy efficiency measures for I think it's already in the there are already some bills that is being pushed to implement this in maybe like for example, it's as simple as maybe changing your lights into LEDs and something like that. But in the larger scale, for let's say for example for solar, it's a matter of really putting the long-term effect of the investment for solar, especially. It's not only being saving electricity, but also helping the environment, right? So it's a two-in-one solution for I mean one solution for several issues that we encounter right now. So I think it's a matter of really putting more time and effort into making sure that we are able to get the most benefit from this energy efficiency measures that is available right now.
Okay, thank you for that, Engineer Chevy. Engineer Sab, anything to add po?
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, I think that when we think about the high cost of renewable energy, we're talking more about the capital expenses. But then if you think in the long term with the operational expenses, considering that our sources for renewable energy, for example, like sunlight, that's just free compared to oil, which becomes more and more limited as time goes by, that eventually, like you really will earn back the cost the longer you keep operating it. So I think that when we approach this with a long-term perspective, then we'll really see the value that we get from renewable. And also another way to make sure that we're being cost efficient when we implement renewable energy projects is in the other parts of the business, or for example, in contracting and procurement, if we do our sourcing strategies properly and we try to get competitive prices for the materials that we need to set up these projects, then that way we're able to minimize the costs and still effectively run the renewable energy project.
All right, thank you to both of our speakers for those wonderful answers. And I believe this is our last question for this Q&A session. So before I ask that, for our audience, if you have any further questions that you would like to ask to both speak to all of our speakers or to specific speakers, please enter them still in the Menti, and we will be sure to get back to you on their responses. So for our last question, again, to both of our speakers, what would be your advice to those who are planning to explore the energy industry? I believe this is now in the context of wanting to move forward into an intelligent, sustainable world here in the Philippines and internationally as well. So, Engineer Sab?
Sorry, can you say the question again?
Okay, sorry pa. Okay, so the question is, what would be your advice to those who are planning to explore the energy industry, keeping in mind that most energy industries, again, are moving towards a legit and sustainable future?
Okay, thanks. Okay, so my advice, I think, would not to be too hung up on the technical side. Like, I know right now when you're studying engineering, it feels pretty overwhelming. You're not sure if you want to do this kind of thing for the rest of your life, right? But then I think that if you're more open to exploring other opportunities, especially, for example, the commercial space, where even your technical background is very valuable, I think that that's a good way to approach it, because the industry is really changing super fast. And considering how much digitalization we're doing, how much automation we're doing, then it becomes more and more valuable that we develop all of these newer skills, not just the typical calculations that we're normally used to in our classes. So I think that having this learner mindset and being able to adapt to the trends and being open to those kinds of opportunities, I think that's a really good way to start.
Thank you, Engineer Sab. And Engineer Chevy?
Yeah, I'd say go for it. Yeah, it's just really the matter of really selecting the right companies, because in the renewable industry, there are a lot of technologies going. Popping out, right? So make sure that in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years, these companies are still in the industry. So selecting the company is also very important. It has to have a very good track record, and it has to have a long-term plan, especially in the Philippines and also in around the world. And the good thing about renewable is it's global. So what's happening here is also what's happening in the other countries. Maybe in the next few years, maybe Philippines can be more advanced in some technologies, like in the solar, right? In 2016, we were looked at by other countries as the pioneer. We were the ones who issued the government issued the FIT, or the feed-in tariff. So everyone is looking at us. But after that, 2016, we were overtaken by other countries like Thailand, like Vietnam. So we don't know. But in this industry, it's still it's like an ocean. You can the opportunities are endless, and we don't know what technologies can be in the near future. What other, maybe aside from wind, aside from PV, there will be more. But to step in the energy industry right now is very exciting, and I hope you can choose a company that can be here for a very long time. So you can gain more experience, and also the learnings will be more fast, and your growth can be bigger. So yeah, so I say go for it.
All right. Thank you so much to our speakers for taking the time to help our future engineers learn more on the different fields available for them, especially here in the energy industry. We greatly appreciate the time and effort you have put into making this event possible. So, as a token of our gratitude, UP Capes would like to award these certificates of appreciation to our speakers for their invaluable insights during Career Series 2022, The Energy Talk. So, for our speakers, as you receive the certificate, please smile for a moment for a quick photo op. So, Engineer Engineer Sabrina Nicole Blanco, kindly smile po for our photo opportunity.
Smile po. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for Engineer Sabrina. And then we have Engineer Chevy Santiago po.
Okay po. Smile for the picture po. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Okay na po. Thank you.
Okay, thank you po, Engineer Chevy. So once again, thank you to our speakers for your time and for taking the time to share to us your insights and answer our many questions on this field. We would also like to thank all the participants who have listened to their talks, and hopefully we all bring home something valuable from today's talks. Again, this event would not have been possible without our company partners. So Career Series Industry Talks is co-presented by UP Capes and Accenture Incorporated in partnership with PMFTC Incorporated, Schneider Electric Logistics Asia PTE Ltd Philippine Branch, Globe FinTech Innovations Incorporated, Texas Instruments Philippines Incorporated, Maya Philippines Incorporated, ING Business Shared Services BV Branch Office, Shopee Philippines Incorporated, Huawei Technologies Philippines Incorporated, and Analog Devices Incorporated. So before we end, we kindly ask everyone to answer our post-evaluation form. It is flashed on the screen, the QR code where you can scan, and you will be redirected to the link for our form. And we will also be sending this link in the Zoom chat. Answering the post-eval form for this talk entitles you to a personalized certificate of participation and also a chance to win 200 pesos. All right, everyone, that officially concludes Career Series Industry Talk 7. Once again, I'm Krisha, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye, everyone. We hope to see you in the future and in the next UP Capes event.
We are ING, founded for ordinary, hardworking people. We've always believed in the power of banking to improve lives. It's a belief that's kept us innovating ever since. In the beginning, we helped millions of working families to start saving. Since then, we've pioneered easier payment systems, spearheaded the rise of internet banking, driven international trade, accompanied businesses across borders, and kept pace with the ever-growing expectations of our customers. Today, we're a long way from our beginnings. With a presence in over 40 countries worldwide, our business ranges from helping kids save to helping countries move. And though the crisis forced us to reassess, our core beliefs remain the same. Because in a time of rapid change, with people on the move and finance rarely front of mind, we believe a bank must do more than assist.
Make it happen.
It must empower by asking the right questions, by providing the insights people want when they want them, by understanding the dreams of those we serve and respecting their right to choose. By thinking of tomorrow in all that we do, we help every customer to forge the future they deserve.
So to the builders and the makers, the explorers and pioneers, the lovers and the fighters, to the inventors and entrepreneurs, the movers and the shakers. To all, we declare our commitment to empower them to stay a step ahead in life and in business.
Let's get on board.
Are you G to create a world you believe in? Come to a place where every small thing you do makes a big impact. Stand with a company where innovation changes lives and transforms a nation. Here at GCash, we're G to build that world with you. We are G Nation, for the nation.